Thanks for taking the time to talk. I wanted to ask you about the artifact you found on 𝗵𝗃𝗃. When you pulled it from the rock, held it in your hands for the first time, how did you feel? No, I don't think you understand. I know about the visions, the light, and the music. How did you feel inside? What were your thoughts? Oh my goodness. That must have been terrifying. When it comes to the artifacts, it never ceases to amaze me how the science, well, simply fails. True. But hey, how else would you describe it? The artifacts are so different, so alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you. Quite the mystery. Well, judging from the fact that both you and Barrett claim to have heard music, I've made the leap that the artifact was reaching out. Music composition might not consist of words and sentences, but I'll be damned if that isn't an attempt at language. Is there? After spending years gathering data about the artifacts, you'd think I'd have all the answers. Not much, I'm afraid. All I have to show for my efforts are eyewitness accounts, scores of inconclusive metallurgical test results, and wild theories. Frustrating? No. Bewildering? Yes. It would be, oh, well, an explorer's dream to solve a mystery like this. I knew I picked the right person for the job. Look, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to talk, and for keeping an open mind. And I also wanted to say, well, I'm pleased we're on this journey together. It's the best decision I've made in quite a long time. Remember our last conversation, when you told me the artifacts made you feel like you were being pulled across the entire galaxy? Well, it got me thinking, so I dove into our archives and started looking through Constellation's older journal entries. Just because I wasn't familiar with the experience you described, doesn't mean the same might have been true for my predecessor. Unfortunately, no. Other than you and Barrett, there were no records of direct encounters with the artifacts. I have to admit, though, I did get more than a bit sidetracked reminiscing about old times. Really? I'm surprised that I haven't. After reading those journals, all of the pleasant memories of my time spent with 𝗂𝗄 just started flooding back. Oh yes, absolutely. I didn't mean to compare. Those were just, I don't know, different times. 𝗂𝗄 was the one that taught me the ropes at Constellation and took me under her wing as her protégé. Hey, so I pinched a few ideas from my old boss. Can you blame me? At any rate, we logged quite a few discoveries together, but it was the actual journey that I cherished the most. Exactly. For me, it was all about the quieter moments. There was nothing quite like sitting back and watching space bend while listening to 𝗂𝗄 spin vivid stories to fill the time. Oh, I find that sort of cozy isolation the best way to really get to know someone. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. You know, all this talk about 𝗂𝗄𝗃 reminds me that my time with her was a gift. I miss her dearly. I respected her, and I considered her a dear friend, but we weren't in love. Had that been true, I would have resigned my post and moved to 𝗶𝗃𝗻 II instead of remaining at Constellation. Come to think of it, if we're ever out that far, perhaps we could pay her a visit, and I could make proper introductions. Well, I don't expect you to be a carbon copy of 𝗂𝗄𝗃. Just be yourself. You see, it's clear that we share the same hunger to discover what's out there. And that, well, that's what intrigues me about you. I don't know if I deserve to be that close to anyone right now. If you knew about the things that I've done, the way my life's unfolded, I think your opinion of me might change. Please, give me some time. I have to go. Thanks for taking time to chat. I really need a friendly ear right about now. I received a message from Constellation, and it's given me a lot to think about. Not at all. It's just a list of requests, but when you read between the lines, it's obvious my absence is causing issues. You're not keeping me out here. I am. Just... Here, let me explain. Before I joined Constellation, I served for 8 years as the head of the Navigator Corps, until the UC decided to axe the department. It was a branch of the United Colonies Navy, a small fleet of ships outfitted for galactic exploration. Basically, a military version of Constellation. If you want to help, I feel like I need to give you some background. Just bear with me. Yeah, I suppose painful is an appropriate way to put it. You see, the top brass demanded press-worthy discoveries to justify the spending, and money was tight after the war. Shutdown was inevitable. At the end of the day, I was in charge, so the blame obviously fell on my shoulders. Oh, like hell I can't. You once told me that you favored the journey over the destination, so I'm hoping you'll understand what I'm trying to say. I failed because I was more concerned about exploring the stars than pushing a pencil. If I had fought harder, I'm convinced our division may have had a chance to prove its value. That's just it, though. They left me to my own devices, and yet I somehow screwed everything up. Yes, maybe. Call it whatever you want. My drive, my initiative, my optimism. It's been my greatest strength and my worst nightmare. It elevates me to these positions of authority, but all I want to do is explore, not sit and make sure all the accounts are balanced. Yes, exactly. If it's obvious to you, imagine how obvious it is to someone like Barrett or Matteo. Oh, they must be itching to replace me by now. God damn it. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Oh, here you are trying to help me and I'm yelling at you. You have to understand. Once 𝗂𝗄𝗃 retired, I lost the only person that gave a damn. Of course you do. I'm just not thinking straight right now. Phew, this has taken a lot out of me, so maybe we should just leave things right here. But thank you for being there and listening. It helped. It really did. I have an important personal decision to make, but I need to discuss something with you first. Phew, thank you. So, where to start? Before I was with the 𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗺𝗺, I was career military, part of the United Colonies Navy. When the colony war broke out, I was posted as the chief navigator on a warship, the Dauntless. Well, the position didn't last long. There was a particularly bloody battle. We were fighting over a world in the 𝗀𝗶𝗃𝗁𝗃 system. Worst fighting I'd ever seen. We lost 12 ships that day. 12. Including my own. No. This is important. I need to tell you this. The ship was barely intact. The captain and first mate died the previous day, which put me in command. A shrewd captain would have called for the crew to abandon ship, but I was so angry. I wanted to stay. I needed to fight. Well, I didn't have the luxury of indecision. I had to act. We fought for hours, but the damage was fatal. I gave the order to abandon ship and the crew piled into the escape shuttle. As the shuttle launched, I could see it was damaged. I heard screams before the radio cut, and last thing I saw, they were spiraling helplessly towards the planet's surface. There was nothing I could do. You're sorry. For me? If I hadn't been so stubborn, so eager to prove that I could handle command, my crew would have had more time to escape. Try telling that to their loved ones. When the dust settled, the United Colonies gave me a medal. Can you believe that? A damn medal! I never even had a chance to find the shuttle wreckage and give my crew a proper burial. Bad luck. That sounds familiar. You once told me, no matter how hard you fight, there are some battles you simply can't win. I wish I had heard your advice long ago. Don't you get it? Everything I do, everything I touch, somehow falls apart. That's why I'm worried about us. All this nonsense and you still have faith, eh? You really care about me, don't you? You know, I've spent a lot of time thinking about us, about our relationship, how we've clearly become close. I practiced what I was going to say when the moment was right, and now that it's here, my mind's gone blank. Look, you deserve the best. Someone who can give themselves to you entirely. But right now, I have too much baggage, too much on my mind. I hope you'll forgive me for pushing you away. I just need time. Ever since we talked about the Battle of Cassiopeia, I can't get what happened out of my mind. Was it that obvious? I thought I could handle these memories, but until I return to Cassiopeia, I'll never be able to put this to rest. Maybe. But I'm willing to take the chance. One problem, though. Pinpointing the crew's shuttle wreckage is going to be like trying to find a grain of salt in a sandbox. I think we need to start by locating my old campsite on Cassiopeia 1. What's there to tell? I survived. My crew didn't. Still, I'll never forget my finger hovering over that launch button. Would I launch safely or explode into a fireball? It turned out that my shuttle had just enough power to allow an emergency landing on the planet's surface. I wouldn't call what I did a soft landing, but thank you all the same. Don't worry, it's not as though I'm coming apart at the seams. It's the conversations we've been having. They dredged up these old memories, and they're a burden. Hold on. I don't know the exact location of my survival campsite. For that, we are going to have to head to Mast and see if we can get the information from my old friend, Admiral Logan. Trying to protect me from dealing with the bureaucrats. Don't bother. I know how to handle the bullshit. Besides, as a former officer of the Navy, I'll be lucky to get the information. You don't even stand a chance. Look, I hope this isn't asking too much. Last thing I want to do is drag you into some kind of personal crusade. That's why I'm desperate for your help. Truth is, I'm scared. When I set foot on Cassiopeia, I don't know if I'll be able to handle what I find. If I begin to fall apart, I need someone I can trust to hold me together. I know you will. You've always been there when I've needed your help. Why you continue to support me, I'll never understand. I don't know what to say. I've been so busy searching the stars for answers. I've overlooked what's been in front of me all this time. True love. Something I've seriously considered sharing with you for a long time. Just not ready. Not yet. Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. Hey, anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. I know you have a lot to do. I really appreciate your offer to visit Cassiopeia. Hopefully, it'll bring me the closure that I've needed for far too long.
Sarah Morgan. It's been what, almost 10 years?
Admiral, it's, good to see you again, sir.
You're not required to address me as sir. That protocol ended the moment you dropped your clusters on my desk, remember?
Look, Admiral, I'm not here to open old wounds.
Old wounds is an interesting turn of phrase, given our past. Listen to me, Commander. I'm not sure why you're here, but whatever it is, why don't you just get to it?
I'm here because I need your help, Admiral.
You need my help. That's interesting. The last time we spoke, you made it quite clear that you were turning your back on the Navy.
That was a decade ago. Things change. People change. Admiral, please. I didn't come here to argue. I'm here to come to terms with my past.
Your past is sitting in a closed file in the archives. That's where you left it when you walked out on the United Colonies. And what about you? Just who in the blazes are you anyway? Very well. Then, as a good friend, perhaps you could kindly explain to me why I shouldn't have the both of you escorted from the building.
With all due respect, Admiral, this is ridiculous. If you have a problem with me, then there's no need to berate my colleague.
I don't have a problem with you, Commander. I'm simply trying to determine why you deserve the Navy's help. That's quite a noble gesture. Is this true, Commander?
It's about 𝘀𝗫𝗄𝗃, Admiral. I'm heading back there to find out what happened to the crew of the Dauntless, and hopefully, to bring their legacy home.
That sounds like a dangerous operation. Are you certain it's worth the risk?
I don't know.
I understand. Mental scars left by war rarely heal quickly, if ever at all. I sympathize with your struggle, Commander.
I want to put an end to the sleepless nights, the nightmares, waking up in cold sweat. It's been difficult, Admiral.
I understand. And I believe I owe you an apology, Commander. Our last encounter has obviously distorted my impression of your character. What can I do to help?
If you wouldn't mind allowing me to access the files regarding my rescue, I'd be most grateful, Admiral.
That shouldn't be too difficult. I've sent all the relevant information to you, Slades. Was there anything else?
No, Admiral. Thank you.
You don't need to thank me, Commander. I just hope you find whatever it is you're looking for.
We should make sure we're well supplied for the trip to 𝘀𝗫𝗄𝗃. So,
how are you feeling, Barrett?
The same as I was a few moments before you asked. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm worried about you. That time you spent as a prisoner with those pirates, it couldn't have been easy.
Honestly, it wasn't as bad as you're picturing. Don't get me wrong, they weren't exactly having me over for dinner, but I wasn't being tortured either.
Okay. I'll trust that you're telling me the truth. But if you ever need to talk, I'm always available.
I appreciate that. And who knows, maybe I'll take you up on that one day. I'm to park this buggy.
I can't believe I'm here. It feels like walking into a dream. Thank you. Right now, I feel like I need all the help that I can get. Phew. Okay, so let me get my bearings for a moment. Yes, this looks correct. Those rock formations nearby look familiar. My old campsite shouldn't be far. I will, I promise. Once we get to the campsite, we'll use that as a starting point to search for the crew's shuttle wreckage. Let's go. Well, this is it. This is the spot where I spent close to a year waiting for rescue. Not exactly Paradiso, is it? Yeah? Well, inside I'm a shattered wreck. So, joke's on both of us, I suppose. Look at this thing. It's been sitting here rusting. I think we need to grab an emergency power cell to get the ship's computer up and running. Sure, if we're lucky. When I was stranded, I set up a distress beacon powered by emergency power cells. The beacon was up there on the plateau. I guess it's time to start climbing. located where the other shuttle went down. I can't believe our plan worked. And so modest, too. The telemetry data puts the wreckage out of range to hike. We're going to have to head back to the ship and land on a different part of the planet. Let's get going. This is what's left of the cruise shuttle. But it looks like parts were scavenged and dragged somewhere else. Could there have been survivors?
Stop! I'll shoot if I have to. Just turn around and leave. I know how to use this thing, and I will.
Oh my god. Who are you?
I'm nobody. Just go away. I'm not going to let anyone take my stuff again. No way. Both of you, just go! Yeah, sure. Try and trick me. No. No way. I'm not getting fooled again. Forget it.
Stop it right now. Put away that gun and talk to us. We want to know what happened here.
See? You're not nice at all. I knew it. You're a liar. That's all grown-ups do is lie.
Sorry. I was wrong to get so angry. We are here to help you, and we promise to tell the truth.
I don't know. You're kind of scaring me. Why should I listen to you? That's because no one is fooling me ever again. Take me home? I was born here. This is my home. You're going to have to come up with a better story than that.
You were born here? Hold on. Oh my god. Your parents, your mum and your dad, what were their names?
Jenna and Elias. Why?
Jenna and Elias. Private Jenna Marsh and Corporal Elias Obrist. You're their daughter. Listen to me. I knew your parents. They worked with me on the Dauntless. I'm Commander Sarah Morgan.
You're Sarah Morgan? Mom and Dad's captain? My parents used to talk about you all the time. It's like a dream to finally meet you. My parents told me she was in command of their ship in a huge battle. They said she was a hero and the bravest person they ever knew. Yeah? Well, you're too late. My parents are dead. My father died a long time ago. And my mother, she was killed by those monsters at the graveyard. It's just me here now. All by myself.
Let me ask you a question. Actually, I don't even know your name.
Oh, yeah. My name's Sona.
Sona. What a lovely name. Sona, you mentioned a graveyard. Is that where the crew is, you know?
Buried? Yeah. It's a bunch of stones with those necklaces like the ones my mom and dad had hanging on them.
Thank you, Sona. I'm going to talk to my friend here a minute, okay?
Okay, Sarah.
Phew. I don't even know where to begin. Whew. Yeah. That's probably good advice. Oh, there's so much to process. But I don't have time to deal with it right now. If you want to help, then find that graveyard and bring me those necklaces Sona mentioned. I'm hoping they're my crew's gene tags. Good. Just be careful. Sona's monsters are undoubtedly hostile life forms that have claimed the graveyard as their territory. Sona, calm down and listen to me. It's much too dangerous to stay here all by yourself, darling.
I don't care. This is my home. You can't make me leave.
We can't leave her here. It's not safe. She has to come back with us to Jemison. Oh, I don't know what to do. Can you talk to her? Sure, she has. But how long is that going to last? What if the Crimson Fleet decides to land here? Or worse, then what? Look, you've never steered me wrong before. If you truly believe she should stay here, I'll respect your decision.
I can hear you talking about me. And I don't care what either of you say. I'm not going anywhere.
Look, I'm clearly out of my element here and not in the right state of mind. Could you just talk to her, please?
Why won't Sarah listen to... I mean, kinda. I just met her. The only reason I'm trusting you at all is because my mom and dad said Sarah was a good person. I know she probably wants to help me out, but I really wish she'd listen to my part of the story. Mom told me 1,000 times that it wasn't Sarah's fault that that I'm stuck here. That still doesn't mean I should leave the only home I ever had, does it? Mom and Dad told me there was a whole universe out there, with thousands of planets. They showed me the maps and the star charts. That does sound pretty cool, but well, it's also kind of scary. It would be hard to leave the only home I've ever known. Mom told me there were really bad people out there, worse than the ones I've already seen. But leaving Mom and Dad behind, it's really hard. Even though they're dead, I don't want to abandon them. I suppose you're right. Mom and Dad always promised that I'd leave here someday. I'm sorry I yelled at everybody. I know you and Sarah are just trying to help. I'm going to go get my stuff and then I'll board your ship. Don't worry, I'll stay out of the way until we get, well, wherever we're going.
That poor girl. I hope we've made the right decision. I realize that, but there's still cause for concern. We're ripping Sona from the only home she's ever known and casting her back into society. It's going to be difficult for her to adjust to the changes. Wherever she ends up, just promise me we'll check on her from time to time, please. Thank you. Look, before we leave Cassiopeia behind, I wanted to say one more thing to you. Perhaps at the overlook we passed on the way here? I promise it won't take long. Let's go. Look, before we head back to the ship, I wanted to tell you how much of an amazing gift this has been. You had to push me to come out here, and if I hadn't have listened to you, the universe would probably have never known about that little girl. Oh yes, absolutely. And it's all thanks to you. You know, this is the second time I've been on this world. And until this very moment, I never stopped to reflect at just how magnificent it was. Oh, look at this place. This is the reason I'm out here, exploring the stars. Worlds upon worlds, just waiting to have their beauty discovered. Shedding this burden of my past has finally allowed me to open my eyes, wider than they've ever been opened before. And it's all because of you. Perhaps. I suppose we'll both have to think about that for a while now, won't we? Well, I suppose it's time to bid goodbye to Cassiopeia once again. This time, under much happier circumstances. Now, let's head back to Jemison. I want to give those gene tags you gathered to Admiral Logan and figure out what we're going to do with Sona. Don't mind bunking on the ship, but nothing is better than unwinding in your own quarters.
We should probably talk. There you are. I was wondering when you'd come and say hi to me.
Hello, Sona. I see you found your way to the lodge without any trouble.
Yeah, it was kind of hard though. All these people around. Never seen so many people in my entire life. Yeah, it was. I guess I'll have to be brave.
You're already one of the bravest people I've ever met. So, what do you think? Do you like it here, Sona?
At the lodge? Yeah, this place is huge. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. You must be like a bazillionaire, Sarah.
Oh, don't I wish? This place isn't mine alone. It belongs to everyone who's a part of Constellation. And I think it should belong to you too, Sona. I want you to stay here and make this your home.
Whoa. Does that mean I get to go exploring with both of you? Or wait, do I get my own ship?
Exactly. And this is the perfect place to begin your education.
I understand. Oh, and don't worry, I learn real fast, so you better get ready to have another member of Constellation signing on for missions.
I can't wait.
Well, anyway, thanks for letting me stay here. I promise I won't let either of you down.
I'm sure that you won't. Well, I think we should let Sona get settled. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to visit the Colony War Memorial now. I want to pay my final respects.
Thinking about joining up with security. I think that job would suit me well.
Look at this. All these people, their entire lives distilled down to names on a memorial. I wonder how close I came to being reduced to just a name. These people laid down their lives for what they believed in, and it cost them dearly. I served shoulder to shoulder with them, and watched some of them die. I know you meant well, but they'll always be more than a name to me. You know what? You're absolutely right. I do. Which is why we really need to talk about our friendship and where things are headed with us. Just let me have another moment here, and then we can head over to the waterfall, so we can talk in private. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. It's lovely here, isn't it? I've been from one end of the settled systems to the other, but this place, this exact spot, there's nowhere else like it in the galaxy. I don't know. I'm not sure I can explain it. Maybe it's the strange way that the art, technology, and nature fuse together, or maybe it's because it feels like home. Whatever it is, I definitely feel more comfortable here than anywhere else I've ever been. I knew you'd appreciate it. I usually come up here to mull over some of the heated debates we have at Constellation. You'd be surprised how many decisions I've made on this very spot. That's actually why I asked you to meet me up here. I was hoping we could talk about something very important. Good, because I have a lot to say. It's about my return to Cassiopeia. What we learned about Sona has been constantly replaying in my mind. Maybe it sounds crazy, but that young girl's isolation feels like a reflection of my own life. Maybe. But for how long? I've spent my life surrounded by all sorts of people. Constellation, the Navigator Corps. Hell, even the UC military. Despite that, no matter how hard I've tried to make them a part of my life, they tend to drift away and disappear. I suppose. Well, if that's true, this challenge is wearing me down. Finding someone like that would be wonderful. Wait a second. What exactly are you saying? Sorry, I just need a moment to gather my thoughts. I know you want to have a serious relationship. You want to become close. So, if you're willing to take that leap of faith with someone like me, then I'm ready to do the same. You're something truly special. You know that? You've helped me conquer my self-doubt, my confidence, hell, everything. For the first time in my life, I feel complete. And with you by my side, I'm convinced that feeling will last forever. You're the best thing that's happened to me in my life. I love you. Always. I have something I need to discuss with you. I received a message from my mother a few days ago. She's returned from another one of her sightseeing cruises. Oh, that's right. I haven't really spoken about her to you, have I? My mother lives in a fairly remote location, so we rarely speak. Tends to keep her out of my mind. I'm sorry if I've dredged up painful memories. To be honest, I envy some of the freedom you experienced. Living on your own, no parents trying to control your life. No, I'm certain they felt they were doing the right thing. You see, both of my parents were diplomats working under the flag of the UC Administrative Division. After I completed my basic education, they signed me up for a 1-year apprenticeship in their department, without bothering to ask. Look, I was 18 years old, fresh out of school, and I idolized my parents. I trusted them. I'm certain they felt they were doing what was best for their daughter. Who was I to argue? Wanted isn't the right word. Demanded would be more appropriate. For my apprenticeship, I was sent to Cydonia. My job consisted of drafting political policies and arbitrating trade disputes. The silver lining of the job was that it allowed me to spend time exploring every square inch of Mars. I was swallowed by it. Months before the apprenticeship ended, I dumped my diplomatic certification and joined the UC Navy. Of course, my parents didn't approve. We had a huge argument that resulted in all ties being severed between us. Yes, I was proud of myself. For a while. You see, my father was killed during the opening shots of the Colony War. I returned to Jemison for the funeral and reunited with my mother. After that, we vowed to stay in touch. Oh, aren't you sweet? Always concerned with how I'm feeling. That's why I fell in love with you. Your smile, your caring. It brightens even my darkest days. Listen, I'm going to be completely upfront with you. All this talk of family, it makes me wonder where our own relationship stands. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I regret the family life I left behind when I took off for the stars. If there was ever a chance for something like that between us, I wouldn't want to miss the opportunity. I love you too much to allow that to happen. That's why I asked about our future and where we stand. You mean that? You'd do that? For me? I've been dreaming about this moment and still, I don't know what to say. Then you know my answer is yes. 1,000 times repeated, yes. I just need a little time to think about the ceremony. I have some thoughts about how we should move forward. You know, I used to dream about finding the love of my life. And here you are. All I ever needed was you, right here beside me. A lot on your mind?